Welcome back to my channel, Valuable Rare Coins. If you love discovering hidden treasures in your pocket change, you're in the right place. In this first video, we'll uncover some of the most valuable and rare US coins that could be worth a fortune. Let's dive in. We have an exciting treasure to talk about, the 1967 United States dime coin. At first glance, it may seem like just another ordinary coin, but trust me when I tell you, this little dime has the potential to make you a lot of money. If you're wondering why or how, stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll understand why the 1967 dime could be worth an astonishing $177,000. Yes, you heard me right, $177,000. Let's dive into some history first. The dime, which represents 10 cents in the United States, has been in circulation since the late 18th century. Over the years, many designs have graced the obverse and reverse of this small but significant coin. For the 1967 dime, it's important to understand that this was a unique period in American history. The country was in the midst of significant social and political change, and the coins produced during these years hold a special place in numismatic history. The 1967 dime features the iconic profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. His likeness has adorned the dime since 1946, making it one of the most recognized designs in U.S. coinage. On the reverse side of the coin, you'll see a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbolizing freedom, peace, and strength. It's a simple yet powerful design, one that has remained a classic for generations. Now, let's get to the interesting part, the value of the 1967 dime. You might be surprised to learn that although this coin was produced in large numbers, it's not the 1967 dime itself that makes it so valuable. Rather, its worth is determined by a few key factors: rarity, condition, and errors. These factors combined make certain coins from this year much more valuable than the average dime you might find in your pocket. One of the key things to note about the 1967 dime is the potential for errors. Many coins from this era, particularly dimes, had striking errors during the minting process. Some of these coins may have been struck with double dies, meaning the design was imprinted more than once, causing a blurred or doubled effect on the images and inscriptions. If you happen to come across a 1967 dime with such a double die error, you've found something rare, and that can significantly increase the coin's value. Another potential error that collectors look for is off-center strikes. This occurs when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, resulting in a coin that is missing part of the design or has it shifted to the edge. These types of errors are highly sought after because they are unique and can't be reproduced. A 1967 dime with such an error would be considered a true treasure in the world of numismatics. However, even if your 1967 dime isn't error-prone, its condition still plays a huge role in determining its value. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition are much more valuable than those that have been worn down from use. If you find a 1967 dime that looks like it's just been minted, with no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, you've found a gem that's worth much more than its face value, but it doesn't end there. One of the main reasons the 1967 dime is particularly valuable today is because of its rarity. During this time, many dimes were either spent in daily transactions or used for other purposes, meaning the number of well-preserved dimes from this era is limited. It's not every day that you come across a 1967 dime that has been kept in excellent condition or has an error, which is why collectors are so eager to get their hands on one. Now, I know you're all wondering just how much this coin could be worth, especially if you have one of those rare, air-filled, or well-preserved 1967 dimes in your collection. Here's the exciting part. If you're lucky enough to have a 1967 dime in perfect condition or one with a rare minting error, it could fetch an incredible $177,000. That's right, $177,000 for a single dime. For a coin that's over 50 years old, that's an extraordinary amount of money, and it highlights just how much value rare and well-preserved coins can hold. So, how can you tell if your 1967 dime is worth something special? Start by examining it closely. Look for any minting errors like a double die or off-center strike. Check the condition of the coin. If it's uncirculated, with no visible wear and tear, that's a great sign. If you suspect that your coin has an error or is in excellent condition, it might be a good idea to have it graded by a professional coin grading service. These experts can assess the value of your coin and give you an accurate estimate based on its condition and rarity. For those of you who love treasure hunts, this is a fantastic opportunity to potentially uncover a rare gem in your collection or spare change. A 1967 dime in excellent condition or with a minting error could very well be worth more than you ever imagined. And who knows, maybe you've just found your own hidden treasure, one that could be worth an incredible $177,000. Second rare coin, we're diving into one of the most iconic and sought-after coins in U.S. history, the 1894 United States one-dime coin. This little coin may seem small, but it's packed with history, mystery, and, of course, tremendous value. Stick with me through the entire video, because by the end, you'll understand why this 1894 dime could be worth an astounding $207,000. Yes, you heard that right, $207,000. Let's go back in time to 1894, a pivotal year in U.S. history. The country was on the brink of the 20th century, a time of change and innovation. The U.S. Mint, located in San Francisco, was working hard to produce the nation's currency, but there was one particular year that became etched in the annals of numismatic history, the year of the 1894 dime. The coin's significance comes from both its rarity and its fascinating story. The 1894 dime was part of the Barber dime series, designed by the famous engraver Charles E. Barber. On the obverse side, the coin features a bust of Liberty, a symbol of freedom and justice, wearing a cap inscribed with the word Liberty. The reverse side displays a simple but elegant design of an olive branch and a bundle of arrows, signifying peace and readiness for war, perfectly representing the dual spirit of America at the time. Now, here's where the story takes an exciting turn. You see, while most of the 1894 dimes were produced in large quantities, there is one particular subset of these coins that have made them legendary, and they're the ones that are highly sought after by collectors. You may be wondering what makes these coins so rare. The answer lies in a very limited number of dimes that were minted in San Francisco, and only a handful of them ever made it into circulation. In 1894, only 24 dimes were struck with the S mint mark at the San Francisco Mint, making these coins extremely rare. What's even more interesting is that these 24 coins were never meant to be released into circulation. They were actually struck as part of a special request for a private collection and were not part of the standard production run. When word got out that a small number of these coins existed, they quickly became the stuff of legend in the world of coin collecting. This tiny batch of 1894 San Francisco dimes quickly became one of the holy grails of numismatics. Over the years, many of these coins were lost, hoarded, or melted down, which only made them more elusive and valuable. Today, there are only a few surviving examples of this extremely rare coin, and every time one pops up for sale or auction, it creates a frenzy in the numismatic community. But rarity isn't the only reason the 1894 dime is worth so much. The condition of the coin plays a massive role in determining its value. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition are worth far more than those that have been worn down from circulation. A coin that has been well preserved, free of scratches and damage, is highly prized by collectors. If you happen to have an 1894 dime that's been kept in excellent condition over the years, then you're sitting on something truly special. It's important to note that even though there are some surviving 1894 dimes, they don't all carry the same value. The highest quality coins, those that are graded at the highest levels by professional grading services, tend to fetch the biggest prices. In fact, the highest grade coins, which are in near perfect condition, can command astronomical prices at auctions. What does this mean for you? If you find an 1894 dime, whether it's in your collection or buried in a box of old coins, it's worth taking a close look at its condition and any potential rarity markers. For example, any coin with a mint mark S, particularly one with a high-grade status, could be worth much more than you think. So, how much are we talking about in terms of price? Well, the 1894 dime has been known to sell for extreme amounts of money at auction. In fact, some of these dimes have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and rarity. The most coveted examples, those that are well-preserved and highly graded, can reach prices as high as $207,000. That's right, $207,000 for a single dime. If you have one of these legendary coins sitting in your collection, you might just have a small fortune on your hands. With the 1894 dime being so rare and valuable, it's no wonder that collectors go to great lengths to secure them. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, finding one of these gems could be a life-changing moment. But what do you do if you think you might have one of these coins? First, make sure to get it professionally evaluated. Have it graded by a reputable coin grading service so that you can get an accurate assessment of its value based on its condition and rarity. Keep in mind, high-grade examples of the 1894 dime are rare, and the best condition coins will always fetch the highest prices. If you find yourself holding an 1894 dime, treat it with care and consider its potential value. With a coin that's as rare and valuable as this, you could very well be holding a piece of American history that is worth $207,000. Third expensive coin, we're talking about the United States one-dime coin from 1977. It might seem like just another dime from the late 20th century, but this coin holds a fascinating history and potential value that's sure to make any collector sit up and take notice. Stick around until the end, because you're going to be shocked at just how much this 1977 dime could be worth today. First, let's rewind a bit and talk about the 1977 dime. At first glance, it might appear to be just another standard issue coin from the U.S. Mint. After all, the U.S. Mint produces billions of dimes every year, and most of them end up circulating in daily transactions. But what makes the 1977 dime so interesting is not just its design or its place in history, it's the rarity and unique characteristics that set certain 1977 dimes apart from the rest. The 1977 dime features a design by Frank Gasparo, who also designed the obverse of the Lincoln cent. The coin displays a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front, honoring his legacy as the 32nd President of the United States. On the reverse side, you'll find a simple but powerful design, an olive branch, a torch, and an oak branch, symbolizing peace, liberty, and strength. These elements are timeless, representing the enduring values of the American people. Now, most of the 1977 dimes that you come across are relatively common. However, there's a specific subset of these coins that has caught the attention of collectors over the years, and those are the coins struck with rare minting errors or those that were minted in limited numbers. Mint errors can range from simple die cracks to more complex off-center strikes, and these imperfections can significantly increase a coin's value. But what exactly makes the 1977 dime so valuable? It's primarily about the rarity of certain coins that were either produced with errors or simply never circulated in large quantities. For instance, if you have a 1977 dime with a noticeable die crack or an off-center strike, then congratulations, you're holding something special. Even if the coin isn't in perfect mint condition, these types of rare mistakes can drive the value up by thousands of dollars. Additionally, coins in near-perfect condition are always sought after by collectors. Coins that have been kept in pristine condition, free from scratches, discoloration, or heavy circulation, will naturally fetch higher prices. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that show minimal wear, and those 1977 dimes that have been well-preserved over the years can easily attract attention at auctions, but beyond just the minting errors and pristine condition. The 1977 dime is also valuable because of its rarity and high demand. Collectors love these coins for their connection to a significant era in American history and their relatively small mintage when compared to other coins from the same era. Over the years, the value of the 1977 dime has steadily risen due to increasing interest in rare coins from the late 20th century. People have started to realize just how hard to find a high-quality 1977 dime can be, and the value of this dime is only going to grow as time goes on. So, if you've kept your eyes open for rare coins in your collection or stashed away a few dimes from your daily change, you might just have a hidden treasure sitting in your collection right now. So, how much is a 1977 dime worth? If you're holding onto a pristine, high-quality example, especially one with minting errors or unique characteristics, the value can soar. While typical 1977 dimes may not carry much value beyond their face value of 10 cents, a well-preserved or error coin can be worth a staggering amount. If you're lucky enough to own a minted 1977 dime in excellent condition, or one with a unique error, then you could be looking at a price tag of around $145,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $145,000 for a single dimed. To put that into perspective, think about it. A coin that most people would overlook, a simple dime, could be worth as much as a luxury car or even a down payment on a house. This goes to show just how valuable rare coins can be, even when they seem like everyday items. If you think you might have a 1977 dime with potential value, it's worth having it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service. Grading services will evaluate your coin based on its condition, minting errors, and overall rarity, and they'll assign it a value accordingly. High-grade examples of these dimes can fetch huge amounts at auction, so having it properly evaluated could result in a major payday. So, if you've got an old collection of coins lying around, it might be time to pull out that 1977 dime and give it a closer look. You could be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. Especially, we're going to talk about a fascinating piece of American currency that could be hiding in your collection or sitting in your coin jar right now. It's the 1980 P1 dime coin. While most of us may look at a dime and think of it as just loose change, this coin, in particular, can be worth far more than its face value if it has the right characteristics. Stick around until the end, because you'll be surprised to find out just how much a 1980p dime can fetch in the right condition. Trust us, this is one you'll want to keep an eye on. Let's start by talking about the design of the 1980p dime. This coin, like all dimes issued since 1946, features the iconic image of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse, or front, side. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, was immortalized on the dime following his death in recognition of his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. The reverse side of the coin shows a simple yet powerful design of an olive branch, torch, and oak branch, symbolizing peace, liberty, and strength. The 1980 dime, with its classic design, is part of a long tradition of U.S. coins that carry both historical significance and artistic beauty. But here's where things get interesting. The 1980p dime, specifically minted in Philadelphia, has certain features that make it more valuable than just its face value. Most of the dimes from this period were produced in large quantities, so you might think that it's just another dime floating around, but there's a little more to the story. While the 1980p dime was widely circulated, certain coins have become highly sought after by collectors due to their rarity, condition, and potential minting errors. One of the key factors that drives the value of any coin is its condition. Over the years, coins that have been circulated and heavily used tend to show signs of wear and tear, which can reduce their overall value. But when you find a 1980p dime that is in near-perfect condition, it can be worth a lot more than you might expect. Coins that have been carefully stored and protected, free from scratches, discoloration, or heavy wear, are highly prized by collectors. These coins are often referred to as uncirculated, and they can command a much higher price on the market. Of course, it's not just about condition, it's also about rarity. While millions of dimes were minted in 1980, only a small percentage of them remain in pristine condition or have unique characteristics that make them stand out. This means that if you happen to have a 1980p dime in exceptional shape, it could be worth a significant amount of money, especially if it has been kept in original packaging or protected from environmental factors like moisture and extreme temperatures. But there's another aspect to the 1980p dime that can increase its value: Minting errors. Occasionally, coins produced at the U.S. Mint can have flaws due to issues during the manufacturing process. These errors could range from something as simple as a double die to more complex off-center strikes or wrong planchets, meaning the coin is struck on the wrong type of metal. These mint errors can make a coin unique and highly valuable to collectors. If your 1980p dime has any of these kinds of minting errors, it could be worth far more than you might imagine. So, how much could your 1980p dime be worth if it's in mint condition or has a rare minting error? Well, here's the exciting part. If you happen to own one of these well-preserved dimes, or even better, one with a unique minting flaw, your coin could be worth $99,000. That's right, $99,000 for a single dime. You might be wondering how this could be possible for a coin that only carries a 10-cent face value. The answer lies in the rarity, condition, and historical significance of the coin. Dimes from this period are relatively common, but the coins that stand out in terms of quality, or those with unique characteristics, can command a premium price on the collector's market. These rare, uncirculated or error coins are often snapped up by collectors eager to complete their collections, which drives up the demand and value of coins like the 1980p dime. If you suspect that you might have a valuable 1980p dime on your hands, it's worth having it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service. Grading services will evaluate your coin based on its condition, any minting errors, and its overall rarity, and then assign it a grade. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A perfectly preserved 1980p dime could be worth substantially more than a coin that's seen a lot of wear. Before you write off your 1980p dime as just another piece of change, take a closer look at it. If it's in excellent shape, or if it happens to have a minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. Coins like these are highly coveted by collectors, and they're always looking for rare and unique examples to add to their collections. To sum up, if you've found yourself with a 1980p dime that has exceptional quality or minting errors, you could be looking at a coin worth as much as $99,000. So check your change, dive into your coin collection, and see if you've got this hidden gem waiting to be discovered. Now, if you've ever come across a 1990p one-dime coin, you might be holding something far more valuable than you think. While most of us are used to seeing dimes in our daily change, this particular coin, with its unique features, has caught the eye of collectors and investors alike. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes the 1990p dime so special and how much it could be worth in today's market. Trust me, you'll be surprised. First, let's talk about the design of the 1990p one-dime coin. The obverse, or front of the coin, features a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. This design was first used in 1946, shortly after Roosevelt's death, and has remained on the dime ever since. Roosevelt was known for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and this coin serves as a lasting tribute to his contributions to American society. On the reverse side of the 1990p dime, we see the image of a torch, olive branch, and oak branch. These symbols represent liberty, peace, and strength, values that are central to the ideals of the United States. The simplicity of the design, combined with the coin's historical significance, is part of what makes the 1990p dime a desirable piece for collectors. Now, let's dig into what makes this coin truly stand out in the world of numismatics. While millions of these dimes were minted, not all of them are created equal. Most coins from 1990 are still out there circulating, worn down by years of handling, but a 1990p dime in pristine condition is a different story. Coins in mint condition, or uncirculated coins, are highly sought after by collectors because they show little to no signs of wear. These coins have been carefully preserved and protected from environmental factors like moisture, dirt, and handling that often cause damage to other coins. Why is the 1990p dime specifically worth paying attention to? The key lies in its rarity and the condition of the coin. While 1990 wasn't a particularly rare year for dimes in terms of mintage numbers, uncirculated coins from that year are harder to find. In fact, many of the 1990p dimes that were produced were quickly spent and circulated, meaning they often show signs of wear and tear. Finding one in perfect or near-perfect condition is a much rarer occurrence, and that's where the value starts to climb. Another factor that adds to the 1990p dime's worth is the potential for minting errors. Sometimes during the coin production process, things don't go exactly as planned. Minting errors can result in coins with unique characteristics that make them especially valuable to collectors. Errors such as double strikes, misaligned dies, or off-center strikes can all increase the value of a coin like the 1990p dime. Coins with these types of imperfections can be worth significantly more than their regular counterparts, so it's worth examining your coins carefully for these unusual features. Now that we've established that the condition and rarity of the 1990p dime are what make it valuable, let's talk about just how much you could potentially sell one for if it meets those criteria. Mint condition coins and those with minting errors have sold for impressive amounts in auctions and private sales. In fact, if you happen to have a 1990p dime in perfect condition or one with a unique minting error, it could be worth as much as $70,000. Yes, you read that right, $70,000 for a 1990p dime. Of course, not every coin will fetch this amount, but a well-preserved dime with either high-grade quality or a rare minting error can certainly reach impressive prices. It all depends on the specific characteristics of the coin, as well as the demand among collectors who are always searching for rare finds to add to their collections. So, how do you determine if your 1990p dime could be worth this kind of money? The first step is to carefully examine the coin. Look for signs of wear. Dents, scratches, or discoloration are indicators that the coin has been in circulation for a while and likely won't be worth top dollar. If the coin is in pristine, uncirculated condition, however, you may be looking at a valuable collectible. It's also important to check for minting errors. A coin with a double die, for example, could be worth significantly more, especially if it is clearly visible to the naked eye. Other errors, such as coins that were struck on the wrong planchet or those with off-center strikes, can also add substantial value. To truly understand what your 1990p dime is worth, it's a good idea to have it graded by a professional coin grading service. These services will assess the condition of your coin based on strict grading standards, providing you with a certified grade that can help determine its market value. The higher the grade, the higher the price it can command. If you think you might have a rare 1990p dime in your collection, whether it's in pristine condition or features an interesting minting error, it could be worth looking into selling or trading it. Given the right conditions, the 1990p dime could fetch $70,000, and that's no small amount for a dime that started out with just a 10-cent face value. Before you dismiss those old coins sitting in your drawer, take a moment to check for the 1990p dime. You just might have a hidden treasure on your hands that's worth far more than you think. Next coin, we're diving deep into a coin that you might have lying around in your change jar without giving it a second thought. The 1991p1 dime coin. While dimes are typically one of the most common coins circulating today, this particular coin could actually be worth far more than its face value. Stick with us, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why the 1991p dime could be worth $60,000 and how to check if you've got one of these hidden treasures. First, let's take a moment to appreciate the design of this classic coin. The 1991p1 dime coin continues to feature the timeless image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt was instrumental in guiding the country through the Great Depression and World War II, and his legacy lives on in this coin. The image of Roosevelt's profile was designed by John R. Sinek, the U.S. Mint's chief engraver, and has been the design on the dime since 1946. Just after Roosevelt's passing, the reverse side of the dime. Like every dime minted in the 20th and 21st centuries, depicts a combination of symbols that reflect the values of the United States. You'll find a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. These represent liberty, peace, and strength, qualities that continue to be foundational to the United States. The design is simple but powerful, and it gives the coin its elegant, meaningful look. But enough about the design. Let's talk about why this 1991 P dime is important for collectors. In terms of the coin's mintage, 1991 wasn't a particularly rare year. Millions of these coins were produced, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're all worth the same. Most of the dimes from 1991 that are still out there have been circulated, and over time, the wear and tear from being used in everyday transactions can reduce their value. In fact, when a coin is used frequently, its edges get worn down and the features of the design become less distinct, which is why circulated coins generally don't fetch a high price. The real value of the 1991 P dime lies in finding one in unblemished, uncirculated condition. Coins that have never been used in daily transactions are significantly rarer, and that rarity is what drives up the value for collectors. These coins will show little to no signs of wear, and their details will still be crisp and clear. If you happen to have a 1991 P dime in pristine condition, it's worth a lot more than you might think, but there's more to it than just being in good condition. Some 1991 P dimes are sought after because they have minting errors that make them particularly valuable. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin's production, resulting in a unique feature that doesn't appear on other coins. For example, a double strike, off-center strike, or a misaligned die can all make a coin much more valuable. Error coins are highly coveted by collectors because of their uniqueness. No two are exactly alike, and they add a special touch to any collection. Now, let's get to the fun part. How much can a 1991 P dime actually be worth? Well, if you happen to find an uncirculated 1991 P dime in excellent condition, or perhaps a minting error that sets it apart from the rest, you could be looking at a value that far exceeds the coin's original 10-cent face value. In fact, some of these coins have been known to fetch up to $60,000 when sold at auction or in private sales. You might be wondering, how do you know if your 1991 P dime is worth this much? The first step is to carefully examine the coin. Look for any signs of wear, such as scratches, dents, or fading. If the coin still has sharp details and looks nearly new, you're likely in the presence of a well-preserved specimen that could be worth more. Next, check for any minting errors. A double die or off-center strike could dramatically increase the value of your coin. If you believe your coin is in good condition or contains a minting error, it's a good idea to have it graded by a professional coin grading service. These services evaluate the coin's condition and assign it a grade based on its quality. The higher the grade, the higher the potential value. For those of you who are just starting out in coin collecting, it's also important to get familiar with the value of coins in various grades. Coins that are graded as MS 65, Mint State 65, or higher can demand significant prices on the market, especially when paired with a rare minting error or if they come from a significant year in American history, like 1991. In addition, if you ever decide to sell your coin, it's helpful to check out how the market for such items is performing. Values can fluctuate based on demand, the coin's condition, and other market factors. That said, $60,000 for a single coin is certainly an impressive return on a dime, pun intended. So, whether you're an experienced collector or someone just starting to dive into the world of rare coins, don't overlook the 1991 P dime. If you happen to have one in uncirculated condition or with a rare minting error, you might just have a hidden gem on your hands. Be sure to carefully inspect your coins and get them evaluated if you think you've found something valuable. And remember, always keep your coins in the best condition possible to ensure that their value remains intact over time. Last unique coin, we're going to take a close look at a coin that might be sitting in your pocket change, but could be worth far more than you'd expect: the 2001 P1 dime coin. While most dimes are often overlooked and considered only worth 10 cents, this particular coin has a unique story and could potentially be worth $35,000. Stick around until the end, and we'll reveal exactly why this seemingly ordinary dime could be hiding a treasure. Let's start by looking at the design of the 2001 P dime. This coin continues the long-standing tradition of featuring the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who led the country through the Great Depression and World War II. The design by John R. Sinek has been in use since 1946, just after Roosevelt's passing, and it still graces the dime today. His image, captured in profile, symbolizes leadership, resilience, and service to the country. On the reverse side of the coin, we find the familiar symbols of American unity and strength: a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch. The torch represents liberty, the olive branch symbolizes peace, and the oak branch stands for strength. Together, these elements form a powerful visual message about the values that the United States stands for. But let's be honest, while the design is timeless, most of us don't think twice about a regular dime when we see one. So why is the 2001 dime so special? To understand its value, we need to delve a bit deeper into the world of coin collecting. When it comes to coin value, rarity and condition are the two most important factors. The 2001 dime was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and although millions were produced, the real treasure lies in finding one that is unblemished and in pristine condition. Coins that have been circulated in everyday transactions often show signs of wear, scratches, fading, and damage from being carried around in pockets or used in vending machines. These coins are worth only their face value or a small premium above it. However, if you happen to come across a 2001 dime that has never been circulated, meaning it has been carefully preserved and shows no signs of damage, then you've got a coin with significant potential. In fact, a well-preserved 2001 dime can be valued far higher than its 10-cent face value. But it's not just the condition that makes this coin special. There are also a few other factors that contribute to its worth. For instance, some collectors are specifically looking for minting errors. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin production process. This could result in a variety of unique features, such as a double strike, off-center strike, or even a misaligned die. These errors can make a coin incredibly rare, and error coins are highly sought after by collectors due to their uniqueness. A minting error on a 2001 dime could significantly increase its value, sometimes by hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If you've got a 2001 dime with a unique minting error, you could be holding onto something that's worth a lot more than just a few cents. It's crucial to closely examine the coin for any unusual characteristics. Look for doubling in the text or design, uneven edges, or any signs that something went awry during the minting process. Now, let's talk about grading. One of the most critical aspects of determining a coin's value is its grade. Coins are graded based on their condition, and the grading system ranges from poor, P1, to perfect, MS, 70. A well-graded coin, especially one in uncirculated condition, will fetch a much higher price than a coin that has visible damage or wear. Coins in MS 65 or higher grades are typically the most valuable, and if your 2001 dime is in this range, you might be sitting on a small fortune. When you're dealing with rare coins like this, it's a good idea to have the coin graded by a professional through a trusted service, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These grading services will provide an official grade, which will help you understand its true value in the collector market. Now that you understand the factors that make the 2001 dime special, let's get to the exciting part. How much could it be worth? Well, the value of these coins can vary widely depending on their condition, rarity, and any minting errors they may have. While most circulated 2001 dimes are worth little more than their face value, a pristine, uncirculated coin or one with a rare minting error can be worth significantly more. In fact, collectors have paid as much as $35,000 for a 2001 dime in excellent condition or with a rare minting error. That's right, $35,000 for a coin that was originally worth just 10 cents. The market for rare and valuable coins is always evolving, so it's important to keep an eye on how the value of this coin changes over time. So, how can you tell if you have a 1991 dime that's worth $35,000? The first step is to inspect it closely. Look for signs of wear, scratches, or fading that might reduce its value. If it looks new and free from any damage, you could be dealing with a pristine specimen. After that, check for any minting errors. If you notice anything unusual or different from the standard design, you might have found a rare treasure. If you think your coin could be valuable, it's worth taking it to a professional grader to confirm its condition and any unique features. A certified grade will give you a better understanding of its true worth and could help you sell it for top dollar if you decide to part with it. And that's it for today's video. If you've got a 2001 dime, take a second look. It could be worth much more than you ever thought. Remember, rare coins like these are hidden gems just waiting to be discovered. Keep an eye out, and you could turn a simple dime into a significant payday. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new discovery. And who knows, maybe you'll find a 1991 dime worth $35,000 hidden in your pocket change. Until next time, happy collecting!